Hey guys, it's the morning of Nat. Sadly, I won't be playing this year. I played through 3 last chance qualifiers yesterday. Didn't make any of them. The first one, I lost game 1. It was Dino Rabbit. I think he exceeded twice in all 3 games. It was literally, we were both just top decking the whole freaking thing. In game 3, he top decks the Thunder King, dropped me to 900. I pulled D Prison, and then he pulled Lance, so it sort of sucked. The second one, I made it all the way to the finals and lost to Heretic. He didn't go to Decrees at all, so I sided back out of the MSTs, and that's when he decided to play Decree. And he opened, I guess he opened with 1 and dualitied into a second. So I ended up bribing the first one he activated when I went skill drain with Barbaros. It took him to 5k, and then he activated the second one and went absolutely apeshit, filled his field, and pushed for game, so that sort of sucked. And then in the third one, I lost that round 1 again too, to another judge friend of mine, Charles. I'm sorry about that. And he was playing a scrap stun variant, and that one was also pretty much a top deck match for it all. In game 3, I opened double Stratos, Alias, Skill Drain, D Prison, and he opened Heavy Storm, and then I just was sitting there with frickin' 3 Alias in my hand, so I had no options at that point. But the deck did run really, really well. I was really, really happy with it. So here's the list. You got the Stratos, triple Alias, double Thunder King, and double Barbaros. I really wanted to play like a Cyber Dragon in the main for 9 monsters, but I really didn't have room. The deck already is 41 cards, because there was nothing else that I really wanted to cut from it. Spells, we've got triple Duality, Rhoda and E-Call, double Spark, double Chalice, double Lance, 1 Soul Taker in the main, because regardless, it's singular destruction for whatever I want. And then with the amount of Chaos Dragons I expected to play, it would be awesome, and then it's great in the mirror match for Shining as well. And then Staples, Mirror Force, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, and Dark Hole. Trap lineup, we got Judgment, Double Warning, Double Bottomless. I cut the 1 Torrential because the deck was at 42. That was the only card I really wanted to cut. Well, that I felt comfortable cutting. So only 1 Torrential. Double Hero Blast, double Skill Drain. I only saw Skill Drain with Barbaros once all day during the LCQs. Sort of sucked. 1 Compulse, triple D Prison was awesome. Because they don't see it coming. It's like, okay, they get 1 thing de-prisoned. And because of Inzectors, not a lot of people play this card right now. I really don't feel it's that dead, because if you're not playing Inzectors, it's awesome everywhere else. It's another thing to force log is. It's retardedly good in the Dragon Mirror. I didn't have a single back row popped by Lila or Raikou all day yesterday, which was really, really awesome. I was able to stop all those Lilas and shit, so all my D-Prisons were always live. And when I dropped the 3rd one against the Chaos Dragon player, he freaking scooped, so that was awesome. We played double Bribe, because when you're only playing 8 monsters, Bribes and Lances and Judgment, you can't fall prey to Bottomless and D-Prison and Torrential and shit like that. And then it's also great for if they're going to make a power play and they need the Reborn, or if they needed a Dark Hole, your 4 or 5 back row, it's awesome. And then finally was the Starlight. So like I said, the deck was at 41 cards. It ran damn near flawless. The only thing that was really bad, I had 1 game where I couldn't draw a monster to save my life, except for T-King. And I kept that T-King alive with Bribes and Lances and Judgment. And that T-King alone won me the game. I did have 1 game where I never saw a monster and I lost. And then I had the game against the scrap player where I was just clogged with Alias and had no defensive options. But I really like the way the deck played. There was really not a lot of room for improvement. I only had like 12 cards in the extra, because this is fusionless, so I had plenty of extra room. I just kind of filled it with some stuff. Oh, computer's falling asleep on me there. We played one Utopia Ray, 2 Gymnite Pearls. That was funny, the first LCQ that I went in, I had forgot to ask about these. And the Dino Rabbit player, I had Skill Drain active. He goes Rabbit into Causables, so I flipped Skill Drain. So I ended up going into Pearl. And I go, hold on a second, Judge. And he comes over there and is like, I forgot to ask you this before the tournament started. I said I needed to ask if these were okay or if I need to switch them out for nons. And I pulled out my extra and showed them to him. And his response, and I quote, were, "Those are too freaking awesome to not let you play." So that was cool. So I had my Alt Art Pearls. We played 1 Blade Armor, 1 Photon Assassin, 1 Zenmeister because I found it in the binder and had a ton of extra deck space, so I figured why the hell not. His purpose used to be if you knew they had Mind Control, go into him instead of Pearl, or instead of Utopia, but now that we have Pearl and all these other options, it doesn't matter. But I put him there for shits and giggles. I don't know. Useless, just filler. Roach, Dragons, Maestroke, because I have the room, even though I have still never once summoned this guy in my life. 1 Gaia Dragon. In that finals matchup, the turn before he pushed for game, if I had top deck Mind Control to take the Autumn that he had, I would have completely cleared his field, and regardless of him flipping that other Decree, he had no other outs. So if I had had the Mind Control, I would have won that match. Because that Autumn's effect is what set his whole fill the field, go apeshit thing to begin with. Play the Stardust Dragon for the Starlight. Finally, Chimera Tech for the Sighted Cyber Dragon. I want a Heliopolis in here just because of Mind Control and Barbaros, since there's the room. But I'm not paying $20-$30 for something that's gonna happen like next to never. Side deck was really, really solid. I used every card in this side deck but 2. One of them was for the mirror match that I never played, and one of them was for the wind-up machines that I never played. So, anyways, the 3rd Thunder King for Dino Rabbit and things that are searching a lot, like this one in against a scrap player. Kaiku for Dragons and Insectors. I never had to play Insectors. A friend of mine that happened to get randomly paired in the same LCQ as me lost to Insectors. The judge kind of fucked him on a ruling too, and I called the judge out on it, and then the judge didn't do anything. He was getting beat sticked with a Ladybug equipped with Gigamantis. So my buddy lances it, and the guy called judge, and the judge told him that when they lanced Ladybug, that Gigamantis fell off and then got its effect. So it was really fucking stupid. And then, he clears the field, and the Insector player sets a Reaper, and then he gets ruled that when you attack into Reaper and flip Chalice on it, that Reaper's effect wasn't negated and didn't die. So I didn't see that last play, but I saw the Lance on an equipped Gigamantis, and that sort of pissed me off. I should have gone up to the head judge, because he's a friend of mine, and been like, what the hell do you have this guy doing? Because he kind of got gypped. That Insector player ended up going to the finals. I don't know if he won that LCQ or not, though. Cyber Dragon, I never had to go into him today. He was there for a mirror match, so I'd have another beat stick for wind-ups, for gadgets, for Machina, whatever. I never saw any of that. Triple Stealth Bird because of Final Countdown. The LCQ that I took second, I had to play Chainburn game 1, and I 2-0'd him. Game 1, he sarked for Final Countdown. I set Judgment, and then when he played Final Countdown, I Judgmented it. And he never drew another one, so I just sort of attacked around whenever he didn't have negators. And then game 2, I opened Stealth Bird, and he opened Final Countdown, so he put himself at 6k and played a 1-day. So I just set Stealth Bird and 2 bribes, because they drew both, and ended. And then over the next couple turns, he sarked for 2 more 1-days, and then as he added them to his hand and activated them, I just bribed him so I could keep spinning the Stealth Bird for game. I played the 3rd Chalice. In mirror match, I was going to side out the skill drain, so I wasn't potentially helped. Computer's going to sleep again. So I just go into the third chalice to help boost my Barbaros and get my 19s over their 19s. So I didn't have to play that card all day today. Although in one of my first LCQ, Derek Rothenberger, what was it, top 8, top 4, I don't remember exactly, from YCS Charlotte, the first massive top for Heroes last format. He's a buddy of mine. He happened to be in that, so, I really didn't want to have to play him, but I didn't because I lost round 1. But I was ready for him because I was going to take out the drains. 2 more Soul Taker for Chaos Dragons, or 1 more Soul Taker for the Hero matchup. I don't like having 3 because they're not always going to be in Shining, especially with how much control I'm playing in this. But in Chaos Dragons, I want this as fast as possible to stop down those Pulsars and whatnot. Triple MST for pretty much everything that's not Chaos Dragons, but you don't want them dead in the main in that matchup, or else you're just going to get wrecked. And finally, the triple macro. I had talked about wanting to main this in some of my previous videos, and I made up, I don't have it on me, the night before I stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning, and I typed up this huge list of pretty much every deck I expected to play, and what cards I was going to side in for it, and what cards I was going to side out for them. Just so, like, in between matches, I could just sort of keep my mind focused on the side decking procedure stuff. Because you'd always get pissed. I did it once where I sided into macros and then realized I left in Monster Reborn and both Hero Blast, where those would be the easy 3 sides if you're going into macro. Normally I'd side out just the Hero Blast and leave the Reborn in case, but that little cheat sheet, I mean, you can't have it out or be looking at it during the match. That's illegal, but just to keep things focused. I noticed macro was sided in against literally every matchup except Dino Rabbit. So it really does make sense to find a way to main macro, and then you just side them out versus Dino instead of in versus everything else. The corollary to that, though, is Reborn's always great, and the 2 Hero Blasts are solid in every matchup, where macro may be a little bit better depending. Hero Blast is by no means the bad card. I won a couple games with it, just cycling back through, especially 2-0ing X-Sabers. I 2-0'd Chaos Dragons. Like I said, I 2-0'd Final Countdown, and then lost to Heretic. I would have beat that Scrap guy in Game 3, because I had Macro, and I forget what else set. I had like 2 or 3 set. And he just like blind night beams and hits macro. And then because of that, he foolish beast, summoned Chimera, and just shit on my face. So that sort of sucked. But that was the list. It was freaking awesome. I probably will be figuring out how to main the Macro Cosmos. Because it makes more sense if it's getting sided in everywhere to just main it anyways. And once that build's done, I'll let you guys know how it turned out. So I'll probably play some side events today, maybe 1. I'll probably try and play the regional for 2013. See if I can get my hands on the first set of invites for next year. That way, if I'm not judging next year, I'm not left in that, oh shit, I need to play LCQs like I did this year. So anyways, peace out, guys.